twisting and turning. He goes again, and what a goal that is. What a finish from Denny Jonro.
Well, hello again, and welcome back to another week of Bull Banter. We've got an action-packed episode for you today. We're recapping two games, both the Wanderers and the Brisbane games, and we're previewing Adelaide United visiting Campbelltown Stadium on Friday. We've also got part of our little interview series, another active support group, the Herd on the Hill. And we're going to talk to Nicky P, who's their representative. You may have seen him on Fox Sports wearing a wig of Lachie Rose's hair. Alrighty. Daniel is with me today, as he is always. How are you doing today, mate?
Not too bad. Just quickly before we start, guys, be sure to check out our Instagram and Facebook pages. They're popping off with content at the moment, so make sure to run with the Bulls. Bull Banter.
That is so smooth. Almost as smooth as this segue into the Wanderers game recap. Let's start it off. Wow. All I wrote in my notes for this game was just wow in capitals, because what else can you say about this game? It had everything.
Exactly.
Apart from a win for the Bulls.
Just like that, we're going to move on to the Adelaide preview.
That's done. That's a wrap.
No, it was a great game of football. Great game of football.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Western Sydney, as they do, they brought a bit of atmosphere and gave, I guess, the bullpen something to sort of aim towards, and I'm sure it'll grow towards and then later surpass it. So there's no worries there. But
with time,
looking into it, it was a really tight contest from the outset, and both sides looked promising going forward early. We sort of talked about it in our previous episode about how we could sort of cancel out each other in terms of our play style, and that sort of seemed to not come true. Instead, it was just fueling the fire of both teams' play styles. We were trying to possess and work our way through. They were on the attack, and then because they were attacking us pretty much every time they got the ball, we were able to exploit the spaces and just, really go back and forth. It was a bit of a slanging match, really, you could say.
Yeah, after we settled into the game after the first few minutes, we were able to build up that pressure and put them on the back foot, forcing them to concede some early corners, which fortunately enough, we found Jovanovic's head for that looping header.
Yeah, it was a really good one. Jovanovic, he's obviously the tallest man in New South Wales. And the way he went about getting on the end of that header, you actually see in the footage, he jumps up and then he has to duck down to get his head on it, which is, just an absurd technique, but he was able to guide it past Daniel Margush there for our opening goal.
Yeah, and then I guess it fell back into the same sort of back and forth midfield battle that we sort of expected. And Wanderers really didn't look like themselves in that first half at all. But yeah, any thoughts on Wanderers not being able to respond as you would have thought to going down 1-0 that early?
Well, I suppose we saw it in round one, where we actually surprised them, I think, with our ability to control a game. I think they're a side that mentally can maybe slip in certain segments of a game. They don't stay switched on all the time. And I think they probably expected, with a bit more fitness, having worked their way into the season quite well, that they'd be able to come out and maybe physically dominate us more than they were able to in round one. But our possession game worked really well for us, and it looked like it was really working in the same way that it did against Sydney before the send-off. So we were able to set ourselves up quite well, and it wasn't just possession for possession's sake, as we saw against Brisbane early on. It was actually, meaningful forays into the box, getting crosses in, isolating our attacking players and letting them drive in. So, there's a lot of good to see there. But I think after we got 1-0 up, we sort of, I'm not going to say we fell back and just wanted to protect our lead, but we weren't as adventurous going forward. And I think that invited Western Sydney back into the game somewhat.
Yeah, definitely more so in the second half. But as you said, we were able to split them open quite a bit, and we were favouring the right side just because Susiata was just having an absolute baller of a game. him and Franjic were just carving him up down the right side there. A nice little meg from Franjic to get into the box. But again, we had that same problem of finding players in the box to get a shot off or put it away. Like, we were turning around corners, which we are going to be deadly from, but it's that last pass to find Derbyshire or that far, or on the Tommy Orr on the back stick there.
Yeah, and look, it's one of those things you would have liked to have seen a little bit more goalmouth action from our attacking side. We didn't really register clear shots on target, but I guess, goal's a goal, and however it comes about is how it comes about. And it really worked for us, those corners. They didn't seem to be able to deal with us on set pieces. But then, all our dominance sort of fell apart in one crazy moment when we had a corner and then it came back out. Lachie Rose retrieved it, passed it back to Jonro, who just slipped at the least opportune moment.
Dorrans Benyat slipped.
Oh, it was Benyat. We'll have to double check that. I think it was Jonro.
I'm pretty sure it was Benyat.
Anyway, tell us in the comments below who was actually right. Was it Benyat or Jonro? Anyway, the pitch was quite soft, you would say. And they had the sprinklers going beforehand, which, probably suits our game, having a soft surface with a bit of moisture on it to get the possession.
Yeah, I'll tell you what else was quite soft as well, that last-ditch challenge from Franjic.
It was certainly indecisive, wasn't it?
Yeah, he went in like half-hearted, it seemed like, and just take him out on halfway there. But
what do you think? Do you think he was having flashbacks of Milligan taking down Trent Buhagiar a little bit closer to the goal and thinking, oh, I'm last man here. If I get this wrong, I could be off too?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, he could have just stood him down. Like, I'm not too well versed in Graham Dorrans, but he's not a pace merchant by any means.
No, he's not a pace merchant. See, okay, yeah, I'm thinking, like, if Franjic maybe doesn't dive in, he can just show him the sideline, make it a little bit more difficult for him. There wasn't any other players from Western Sydney really streaming through the middle. And if he just, delays him a bit, maybe it gives Federici a bit of time to jog back to his goalmouth. And maybe that doesn't happen. But as it went, Franjic dives in. You get a ricochet, which was very fortunate for the Wanderers, that it just falls at the feet of Dorrans as he hurdled the challenge. And then, he was able to just pick his spot as Federici was in no man's land. And you got
pretty good finish.
It was a good finish, but you've also got to credit the meaningless dive from Federici just to make it look good for the cameras as well, even though he was like 30 yards off his line when he dived. Anyway, we can look at it as, in the second half as well. The Wanderers didn't really come into their own until their equaliser, which really helped them lift up and assert the dominance in the game. But if you look at how our response was, it was good. We didn't drop our heads, and we were able to get back into the match with another header from Suzhniar this time. Again, proving what an asset the centre-back pairing is in terms of the aerial battles.
Yeah, definitely. Those corners are going to be lethal for us. But it was good to see that we didn't put our heads down after conceding that equaliser, that we fought right back and got a goal only about 6 minutes later. But then in response to us going up 2-1, Wanderers also, they kept playing, and for the rest of that second half looked miles better than we did with the ball going forward. They were able to get us down the left and right channels, getting their fullbacks to overlap, and which eventually led to that another crazy moment in this game where Federici made 2 goal line saves.
Yeah. Oh, this will live long in the memory. This goal line scramble, which was, to be fair, brilliantly commentated by Brenton Speed. I know we give Fox Sports a lot of shit on this podcast, but, credit where credit's due. Brenton Speed, like, if you haven't seen the footage on Kayo Sports or Fox Sports or anything like that, go back and find it, because it's an iconic call. But yeah, Federici, you see him make a really good save when it comes into the box. I think it was Yeboah or...
Yeah, Tracy put a pretty good ball through after some play down the left from Wanderers. Yeah. They passed it in around about 4 of our players, just 2 of them, and then
the first time finish is, blocked by Federici, and then he's got the wherewithal to get up again and get on his feet. He jumps up and reaches into where the spiders live just to keep the ball out. Falls into his own net, still knowing that the ball's alive, and we've got a couple rallying defenders around. I think Sujnia was really pivotal there as well. And then Kamau comes in to just give it some violence, and Federici, a combination of Federici, Sujnia, bad shot, and the post was able to keep that out.
Yeah, well, I think Sujna was in the way, so he couldn't drill it low. He had to get it over Sujna's knee, which is about 6 feet tall in itself. So it was
just absolutely crazy. It's very it's a little cliche to say it, but it's broken controller time. If you've ever played FIFA, that sort of stuff, we now know that it really does happen in real life. So yeah, absolute scenes. And that just capped off what was an absolutely mesmerizing night of football. Unfortunately, we do have to talk about the set piece equalizer, getting it back to 2-2, where Bacchus was able to flick on with what they called a scorpion kick, but I think was more of just a back heel. And then Simon Cox was able to nod home. Shit happens. Sometimes you get an unfortunate deflection. Sometimes the opposition pulls out a little bit of magic. I don't know that he intended necessarily to find Cox. I think it was just, the ball's there, I'll put my leg out. And sometimes that stuff comes off. Maybe if we had a man on the back post, it wouldn't happen. But at the same time, you got to throw your hands up in the air sometimes. We had our chances. They had their chances. And I think overall, a 2-2 draw was a fair result. What do you reckon?
Yeah. A goal was definitely coming if that crazy sequence of play with the Federici double save wasn't enough. I think from the 68th minute to the 74th minute, Wanderers had 10 shots on goal. So they were absolutely just pumping us at the back there. So I think we're honestly lucky that they didn't convert more of those chances. There was one right after Baku's flick for Cox. Cox was through again, I think, and Sujna just put him off that little bit, but there's still a 6-yard chance. So
I think it's a little bit of a concern that when we are under the pump so much that we seem to fade out of games. Like we possess really well, and then we have this sort of brain fade for maybe a 10-minute period every game where we just are either tired, we're lacking fitness or whatever, but we don't aim up really in defense, and we let them come onto us. And 10 shots in a row on your own goal is not what you want, especially in a derby. So we were in a way, I think it's a fair result, the 2-2, but in a way, if you're looking at it a bit differently, maybe we were a little bit lucky to get out with a point. But on another day, maybe the flick doesn't come off a Bacchus, and maybe on another day Federici's on his line, or Frenic doesn't dive in, or Genre or Benyat, whoever it was, doesn't fall over. So it could have been very different. And I think if you're thinking back at the start of the season, taking 4 points from Wanderers over 2 games, I think you would have taken it.
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself.
We better get on to our next segment. We've got, as part of our interview series for the MacArthur supporters, the herd on the hill, Nicholas Pedreira, the man who's known as the turncoat. We're going to discuss many things with him in the upcoming interview, so make sure you stay tuned and we'll catch you on the other side. Well, welcome back to Bull Banter, and with us today for the interview segment, we have none other than Nicholas Pedreira. That's how you say your name, right, mate?
That's right, Blake. You've said it right.
Oh, nailed it first try. Haven't done so with Charles Barber or anything like that before, so I'm glad I got one for once.
You should be nailing them. You're an English teacher, for crying out loud.
Just doxed me on the pod. Anyway, Nick, we just wanted to have you on to discuss the herd on the hill. You've made a little bit of attention known to yourselves with your active support on there. A bit different to most active groups. Can you sort of walk us through who you are and what you guys are all about?
Yeah, so myself and the three Yabsley brothers created this group on the hill. Pretty much with general admission area. We didn't get tickets for the bullpen, so we decided to get general admission. So we've sat together and, you know, we just wanted to bring a group that we can join, have family involved in the group, bringing their wigs. You know, I know that how it started with the Lachie Rose wigs was pretty funny, but which I'll explain. But it started off just sitting on the hill, and then we made following week, we decided to get the Lachie Rose wigs going on, wearing, you know, and make it a big thing for. And it was funny. It was just the four of us, and then other people started joining up. So, but yeah, we just want to be a family hill, you know, and help out the bullpen too. So between the bullpen and the herd, we're working together as a team. With previous bullpen people, we don't want to get into that, but
fair enough.
The herd and the new bullpen have been working real hard together and, you know, helping each other out with anything.
Yeah, we've seen at the games, there's a few chants coming in of you guys throwing it back and forth, which is good to see. But I would say one question is, where do you guys get the wigs? Because they look almost identical to Lachie's hair sometimes. So
so it's funny. We got the wigs from Ronnie's at Narellan, which was funny enough. One of our Dane Yabsley got it from Narellan shops, and Ronnie's, we were sold out from that day. and then he went, Dane went another, I think last week, and he got another 4, and he goes, mate, we're going to have to get some more because I think a few people want to wear the wigs. So we decided
it is pretty iconic. Yeah. Is it something that you are looking to continue there, or is it just going to be, you know, sort of a one-off thing just to bring a bit of attention to Lachie?
We're going to continue it. Well, with the boys, we've said, look, if Lachie Rose does ever leave, we'll then decide, no, we won't be wearing wigs anymore. But for now, we're going to keep it going. You know, it's funny enough, his parents love it because his parents have come on the hill twice now, and they love the craziness, like how we're wearing wigs for him. We were going to make a banner for him, but club didn't allow us, because we're not an active support group, but what can we do? But look, we never know. It could happen in the future. We'll see how he goes. But so that's how it come from. And he loves it. He actually really loves it. So he's a big fan.
You were able to catch up with him and have a quick chat?
Yeah, we've had a few chats with him. So we on our Instagram page, we've had a chat with him. Every time he tags us, he's always posting it back up. And we've taken a photo. The worst thing, we had a photo with him, and it was against Sydney FC when we got beat 3-0, and he was upset. You could tell.
Hard to have a smile after that one.
Photo with us. Yeah, but look, let's say hopefully we get a win and we get a smile out of his face this week. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely, and we look good value for it after our little foray up in Queensland there versus Brisbane Roar in Redcliffe. Pulled the points away there. But before we go and break that all down, we've got a couple more questions for you here.
Yeah.
In regards to Lachie, I know that he certainly came on strong with in the early days, especially with the trial. You know, he was a standout performer, and he's been dangerous certainly when he's been on the pitch for us. But do you notice a little bit of maybe flagging off of his confidence lately? Do you think maybe he's a little bit overhyped?
I think look, at the moment, it's been it's the last few weeks. He's coming into the A-League. You know, he's played. Before he's playing NPL against NPL teams in trial matches, but now he's playing in the A-League. He's getting work. It's a work in progress. You know, he's only 21, so I think he's got more to improve. I reckon with Ante as the coach, he will help him out. And I know Brett Emerton's helping him out a lot too. So let's hope he, keeps building his career and keep being, like strong how he's playing, because you don't have those many right wingers or left wingers how he plays. He's just he needs to work on his finishing. I think he'll get better than that, but he's getting there. So he's improving.
Well,
it takes week by week, and he'll see what happens from there.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's turning up in the right positions. He's looking dangerous every game, even if he's out of the action for a little while. Every time he pops up, he's putting defenses on the back foot, and that's what you want to see. I think we've got to be careful with young players. They can get a little bit of cult of personality around them just because, we want them to succeed. We want them to fulfill their potential. But we just got to be careful not to, get them too big for their boots too early.
That's right.
To stick with them, because you do have variances in your consistency when you're a young player. You have purple patches and you have, valleys that you got to get through. So it's a bit tricky for him, but I'm sure all of, MacArthur Bulls supporters will be on his side, and especially the Hill with the Wigs.
I don't know if you've seen like a lot of the Fox coverage as well, like in those early games, just because he was so exciting when he gets the ball. Like the Fox coverage just absolutely loves him.
Oh, they love him so much. I was talking to Brenton Speed. He came up on the hill 2 weeks ago, and he was like, "Oh, why did you just decide to do this and all that?" And it was like, "Oh, about his game." He goes, "Yeah, we love him. It's good to see you guys bringing something into the A League, like a cult hero." Which is it's the same with Central Coast. They've got their player up there. I forgot his name, but he's another one that's a cult hero up there.
Oh no, you've Matt Simon, yeah.
Yeah, Matt Simon. But the other one, there was another one. So he's a great. Yeah, I like Matt. He's all right. But but yeah, no,
a little bit of leftover Sydney FC in you that likes Matty
Simon.
Yeah,
I've still got it. They did mention it on Fox Sports if you've seen.
Yeah, they labelled you a turncoat, mate.
Yeah, it's great when they labelled me on national TV, so it's great.
Oh well, mate, you'll live it down, especially when Macarthur are obviously the form team in the A League and they got the brightest future ahead of them.
We'll see what happens, We'll see.
Yeah. One last thing, just to wrap it off. In your opinion, what do you think is needed to create a better atmosphere at Campbelltown Stadium?
Look, with the atmosphere, in all honesty, I know it's with restrictions at the moment, it's a bit crazy, but we can't do much. But I can see at the moment, looking in the last 2 weeks, there's more supporters going at the ground. Then I'm a West Tigers supporter, and it's funny. I've seen the last 2 games. There's been more supporters at a Bulls game than a Tigers game, which is crazy. In the last,
brilliant. That's what you want to see.
That's what you want to see. So atmosphere really to build up the atmosphere. I think with now COVID restrictions going to ease up in the next few weeks. Hopefully, I don't know if by tomorrow we can have a bit less restrictions there. There's more chanting involved. I know the bullpen are doing chanting between us, but get the other crowd involved on the other side of the on the eastern grandstand. But yeah, look, I think there's another thing to build up the atmosphere. It would be a great idea is getting free tickets for the kids in the Macarthur Football Association, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely.
Having kids, we've in the area here, we've got a lot of families and all that. So having kids getting a free ticket so their parents go, "Oh, let's go. We have to take our kids, they want to go." So it builds more people coming to the games and, it builds the team up. I reckon
it helps them fall in love with the team as well. And then you've got, you can build lifelong support through that. That's
right. And look, if we build the team's building up slowly, and if they keep winning and then win at home, more people turn up. So
yeah, that's exactly right. I think everyone loves a winning team, and you get some bandwagoners who maybe turn into fully fledged supporters down the line.
That's right.
You never know. The only thing we're missing is that home win. So hopefully we can get it done tomorrow, Arvo, on Friday at Campbelltown Stadium. Now, we wanted to press ahead. Are you right to stay on with us for the recap of the Brisbane game?
Yeah, I'll stay on for you. Yeah, I've got a little bit of time, so.
Wait, we'll try and whip through it for you. We do appreciate your company here.
No, that's all right.
So basically, 2-0 win. I was quite shocked actually that we got the business done up there. Brisbane were looking on fire before they came up against us, and especially at home, that Redcliffe Stadium move has done them a world of good. It's a real cauldron there. It's always, really oppressively hot, which, the Sydney teams and Melbourne teams have found it difficult to deal with. And they've just smashed teams. They've run them off the park. But, we held firm, and we actually, did a bit of a Central Coast to them in a way. We didn't have the better of the game, but we got the 2 points, the 3 points at the end.
Yeah, I feel like there was a massive win. I thought with Brisbane. Like I watched the game before our game on Saturday, Brisbane against Melbourne, and they just looked too good. And I was a bit worried, Dolphin Stadium, it looks like a fortress. I think it's one of the really nice stadium to go to watch a game.
Yeah, the Leagues Club on the side. You imagine being up on the balcony.
You see on the balcony or people drinking up there, so it's a pretty good stadium. But,
Blokes just shouting out at Tommy Orr mid-game.
Oh, that was very good. I love that. So.
Sledge.
Yeah, very good sledge. But yeah, no, I think the game on Tuesday night was massive. Was it a massive win? We played really well with all the changes we had too. 7 players out, got on, swapped onto the bench and all that. We really did real good, and I was really impressed. Mark Milligan coming back was all massive. He killed it on.
He's huge for us from a leadership standpoint, eh?
Oh. Because you see on Saturday there wasn't much leadership there, but against the. Well, we played well, but we didn't have that leader mentality in there. But just crazy for his age. He's still killing it.
And I think he brings something different to our backline as well. Like we see it, we saw it a couple times in the game with Sujnar finding those passes into our front three. But some of the balls he put through, like especially that one for Genre, was just inch perfect. Like
should have been
something different.
And Johnro's just improving every week, every game that he's just improving. He's going to be such a quality player in the future. He's still young too. He's in his 20s. He's 21.
You can just tell. I mean, he's winning fouls whenever he wants. He's basically, Iniesta-ing everything. And he got a deserved goal. Like, he's really, it's been paying off all that hard work that he's been putting in. I wanted to sort of direct our attention to actually like our play style during the game. First half, you would have said that, we stuck to our normal structures of possess the ball, run the other team around, try and tire them out. And, without maybe pushing too far forward, do you think that maybe Milicic went for more of a, was he maybe seeking a point rather than a win?
I thought that's my point. I thought he was seeking a point away from home in Brisbane. Tough three games in 6 days too. I thought a point would be great for us up there, but somehow we got that win. But there was a different tactics from what I saw. Second half changed a lot from the first half.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think with the swap, with the Spaniards coming on both together, it just changed the game a lot too, which was great.
Yeah, we started definitely the better team compared to Brisbane. Like we had a way better tempo. Like even with those 7 new additions and the likes of Martis and Rose in the mids there, I thought they did pretty well, holding a candle to the likes of Banyat and Genre in the holding midfield spots. Yeah, but then Brisbane sort of eventually got into the game, didn't they?
I think they figured out with that we were just possessing. I think, if you looked at our lineup, really Lachie Rose was the only true getting in behind kind of outlet. Or doesn't have the legs. Moody Najjar wasn't running in behind the strikers too much, and he wasn't winning much ball either. You got Macaulay Gillespie back there, who's just a man mountain, and it was making it very tough for Moody to do any hold up play like he likes to do. So they did suss us out a bit, and I think they realised with the likes of Corey Brown and Josh Brindle South that they could just push up and really condense us in our own half. And as good as we are at possessing the ball, we do struggle to advance it when we're being pressed in our own half, and they just were able to put the pressure on, especially in the second half of the first half. And then second half still 0-0, and Milicic, I imagine, reads in the riot act and maybe gives them a bit of a restructure in terms of their style of play. We looked like we were a lot more defensive minded, focusing on sort of stopping goals from happening first rather than trying to advance the play and maybe score a goal. And it actually worked for us because, as Brisbane got more desperate, we were able to launch a couple counters and put it on them maybe when they weren't expecting it.
Yeah. No, Brisbane just, that last 30 minutes, 20 minutes, I was just worried. I was like, they're going to come back here and they're going to come back. And then Derbyshire scores that goal, which quality, finish from him. I know the keeper was out, but it was quality.
Yeah, they did have that chance before we scored our first goal as well, where they hit the post. And there was a lot of those shots just seemed to find Federica right down the middle of the goal, which we'll take that. But, it seems to be a constant theme of if the teams we're versing didn't have as much pressure on them from our back line, or they were a bit better at finishing, then we would be under. But I suppose we should get onto where the game really changed when Holman came on.
In my notes here, I've just written in full caps, Jakey fucking Holman. Do you want to take us through it?
I was going to say that he was a big difference for us. In all honesty, I reckon he should start on tomorrow. I think he's a good quality player. When he comes on, he's always hungry, but I reckon starting him, get that hunger in, get those early balls in and goal, opportunities so he can get some goals in the start of the game.
Yeah, he's full of go forward. I think he doesn't really know how to dribble backwards. He's just attack. And that's brilliant. He's broken several ankles as well from the Brisbane team on Tuesday night.
Yeah, he
and
did.
just on the assist, he gets the ball out wide, and you're thinking like he's not a left winger; he's sort of deployed as an attacking midfielder. But he drifts out wide, receives the ball in space, and I'm yelling at the TV, drive, drive, drive. He goes through. He just does an absolute dazzle on his defender there. Could have probably gone down for the pen.
He could have
wanted it, but he stuck to his feet and picked himself back up and was able to find Jonro in the box, who actually swiveled to score with a neat finish. If you saw, it didn't really have the camera angle for it, but if you sort of thought about what Jonro had to do, right, the ball was just a little bit behind him. He's had to swivel and connect with it perfectly to get it into that corner. It was a neat finish. Definitely.
Yeah, you don't get many camera angles with the Fox coverage, do you?
No, there's not many. Just the one at Dolphin.
Yeah, I've even recognised, like, when we have the coverage at home, just quickly, we don't get many shots of the bullpen. It's usually they're more looking at the active supporters who visit.
All the cameras on the bullpen side, aren't they?
No, it's on. Yeah, it's always shown on the bullpen doesn't get shown at all because it's on that wrong. They're on the wrong side. Yeah, it should be on the other side, I reckon, on the right side.
The herd gets plenty of screen time.
I think it's just the wigs. That's why.
Yeah,
it's the wigs.
Can't miss them.
Can't miss it. Yeah.
I just wanted to walk through the Derbyshire goal as well. You talked about what a cracking finish it was, but there was a little bit in the lead up too. I mean, obviously we were under the cosh. Brisbane were throwing everyone forward, getting everyone into the box, and to our credit, Sujnar back there and Milligan were winning headers over people that they probably shouldn't have been winning them over, and it was happening all day. We cleared, and Derbyshire sort of took a gamble, right? So most attacking players, when they're pressing, if it's late in the game, I know he came on late and he had probably the legs for it, but he gambled on the bad touch after making that header from Kai Truan it was. And if he hadn't have, gone through for that, the opportunity is not there and he doesn't score an absolute banger. So it's just the little 1%ers, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think his experience of playing overseas, so many in Greece and in England, he's got a good experience. I know he hasn't scored many goals. He's only scored 2 goals, but it's coming.
Scored plenty of offside ones this season.
Oh, yeah, offside, plenty of offsides. That's true. He's a traditional 9. I really like a 9 like him. He's very, central, and it's a good for us.
It's combative. I think. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
No, go. That's all right.
Yeah, I think he's one of those players who's still sussing out the A-League. I think he's trying to. You see it on the weekend when we're playing. He's often in that sort of duel with a centre back, and he's trying to milk maybe a foul or something like that. He's always going to ref, what's that? I think, even though he's played in Greece and Cyprus and all that, that maybe he's not worked out how physical the A-League is allowed to be because of the refereeing.
Yeah.
And so, he's got to do a bit more scrapping, I suppose. But I just wanted to touch on as well, what did you take out of the match, Nick, with us beating Brisbane in a fashion that we're probably not used to, playing a different game style?
I think the one thing is the rotation. We've taken a gamble on having so many new players come on debuting for us against Brisbane, who were coming first or second. That was a big gamble, and I reckon I can see Ante's philosophy. I think he's going to use the whole squad. He's not going to use just the main squad. He's going to use the whole squad that they've got. So I can see the Bulls looking, fresh. If we're going to have multiple games coming up with COVID, coming up and coming on, back on and off.
Yeah, the fixtures are a mess, aren't they?
A mess up there. So I can see we'll be taking, getting these players that have these Jake McGings and all these players that come, you wouldn't think they would be starting. They'll be probably playing NPL, but they're going to be playing for sure. So, I've seen good positives. I think we're starting to gel together. And there's more improvement. So I think the next few weeks could be great to see the Bulls. It'd be good to see them. Tomorrow against Adelaide and then Western United the following week. So it'll be massive 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, because he's shown it before with Sujnar and Jovanovic. He's not afraid to leave him out of the squad. Yeah. Obviously, sometimes there's been injuries or whatever, but I suppose it's a good thing moving forward if we can have that depth.
That competition for places is really important. And like you said, the freshness, it's a pretty grueling season, especially when the fixtures are coming thick and fast. That squad depth is really what separates a finals team from just a decent, mid-table team. So hopefully that's us. And the young boys who came on who looked great, they'll just grow as the season goes on. They'll get more opportunities, and it's really exciting. Jay Coleman announced himself. He put his name up in lights, so I'm sure we'll see more come out of that as well. And Martis did quite a good job as well.
He did real good, yeah.
In the midfield. All right. Well, we might press on to the Adelaide preview, and we'll say goodbye now to Nick. Thanks for joining us, mate.
No worries, guys. Thank you for having me.
Any shout-outs quickly before you go?
Look, shout out to the boys, the Yabsley boys. Thanks, for they're always talking every day with me about what we should do and all that. But I shout out to everyone if they want to join the herd. Anyone's welcome. Anyone we want to come and sit on the hill, more than welcome to come down or come up to the hill. We're there to have a chat. We love it. We love the club. We're here to support one team and support the whole team and the squad.
All right.
Cheers, did you say you had Instagram as well? Was it?
Yeah, we've got an Instagram page, The Herd Macarthur FC, and then there's a Facebook page. I think it's The Herd. It'll come up straight away. GA Macarthur Bull supporters.
All right.
More than welcome.
No worries, mate. Well, we appreciate your time here, sticking with us through the Brisbane recap, and we'll see you on the weekend. I'm sure you'll get some more airtime.
Let's hope so. See you later, guys. Thank you.
Catch you, Nick.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate. All right, plenty of banter there. Great to see Nick joining us on the podcast. And, we do love talking to the Macarthur supporters. I think it's a really good thing that we get to know who's who in the zoo when we go to Campbelltown Stadium. Anyway, let's try and work our way through the preview for Adelaide. What do you see happening in this game, Dan?
Well, hopefully we see 3 points at the weekend. It should be a game that we win. Adelaide started the season quite well, but the last few games and away games out of Adelaide, they haven't looked like themselves really, conceding a lot of goals. I think it's 8 goals in 2 games or something that they've conceded. So, it should hopefully be that first maiden victory for Macarthur at home.
Yeah, it's something we'd love to see. When you look at Adelaide, I just wanted to pick up on the point that they are vulnerable away from home. If you've followed them in previous seasons, they are the FFA Cup specialists. They have won it pretty consistently when they've been able to have the final on home turf. And Cooper Stadium, if you've never been there, is a lovely little venue, a real fortress for them. But they are at Campbelltown Stadium, and we're going to be looking to make it a fortress for us. And there's no better way to do that than to be able to chant. Finally, restrictions are lifted. There's no more masks at the game. And hopefully that also means that we can chant freely, especially the bullpen, who's going to be, forceful in their numbers. I think they've got quite a few coming this week.
Hopefully
they can do.
They can bring out the megaphone that they've been.
People can actually learn chants rather than just ring bells. So that should be good. How do you see Adelaide maybe hurting us? Because we can't be too cocky. I mean, we did do a smash and grab against Brisbane in the midweek, but we can't get too ahead of ourselves. Where are the threats coming from for Adelaide?
Well, they line up usually either in a 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2, but their pace could definitely hurt us down the edges and throughout the middle there. Mohamed Toure always looks to play on the shoulder of his defender and receive those long balls into the space behind. So hopefully if Golek gets a stint 60-minute mark at left back for Meredith, hopefully doesn't get exploited there.
I think because Golek played midweek, we're probably likely to see 90 minutes out of James Meredith now. But we'll see how he goes. He does really wear himself out. He gets up and down all day, and that's why we love him. But it's a tough thing to do for all 90 minutes. Ben Halloran as well. He's a bit of an older player, but he's very dangerous. He's been their leading goal scorer in the couple previous seasons, and he's quite pacey. So we'll have to keep an eye on him as well. And they're full of young guns. This side. Bruce Jitte, the chairman of Adelaide, has done a really good job of setting up the club to produce these academy products, and he gets them in there, and they gel from day one because they've been going through the system together. So even though many were writing off Adelaide at the start of the season, having lost the likes of Riley McGree, who went over to Birmingham, people were saying they're not a final side, they're going to struggle because of the youth. But I think they've proved some of the doubters wrong. And the kids have been able to make the step up to the big leagues like a few of ours have. So it'll be an interesting matchup. One person who could also do a bit of damage to us, either with his ability to make a pass or just by being an absolute dog in the sliding challenges, is Stefan Mork. He's a bit of a live wire, and he's got a bit of a free rein in midfield. He loves to roam forward, and he'll be a player that he won't hold back. If you look at Adelaide, they've got a bit of the bit between their teeth. They've got a bit of aggression about them, and I worry because of our possession-based game and maybe not wanting to get so stuck in and into a really physical battle that they could at times physically overrun us. So we'll have to be careful of that.
Yeah, I think he scored in their last game out, I believe, against Perth, I think it was, in that 2-1 loss that they eventually had. But I've been reading up, and a lot of the Adelaide fans were sort of that they felt as though that they threw away that game just with the substitutions they made. And I think they bought Mork off the pitch. And when you see him play, because he has that free rein in midfield, he can just either come deep and collect it, and he loves to bomb forward and support the front three there. So, and he's definitely that driving force for them. So definitely a player to look out for.
Yeah. Across the park, they're that really aggressive side. And I think what it'll really come down to with our play style versus theirs is our quick decision-making. They'll probably look to do what Brisbane did to us in the midweek and press us quite deep and often to try and keep that pressure on. So if the likes of Puyo and Benyat and Jono can get decent service or a little bit of time on the ball and find a way out, if we can get it out to the wings, I think we can really hurt them because they do love a bit of a press. And, we'll need that outlet sometimes maybe. The likes of Lachie Rose bombing on, getting in behind. Hopefully it's not too one-dimensional, but we might need to have that, pressure release valve of going forward, because sometimes we do play ourselves into trouble when we're trying to play out from the back and keep to our possession game.
Yeah. And I suppose after the Brisbane game for us, it's thrown a bit of a spanner in the works as to who starts out wide for us after Holman's impressive display. But who do you think starts for us? Like whether or not it's Milligan and Jovanovic again, now that Jovanovic is back in the squad in centre back.
I think Moody Najjar will probably get a go out on the left. Tommy Orr's still building up his fitness and getting a few more minutes. He travelled up to Brisbane, obviously. And Lachie Rose, I think, will take a seat in favour of Markel Susaeta, who's been, quite honestly, one of our best players this season so far. We'll see an experienced midfield again. I don't think Martis or Liam Rose will retain their starting spots despite how good they went.
Yeah, I think for the squad for the weekend, Liam Rose is out of the squad completely, so we won't even see him off the bench.
Fair enough. Well, I think Milicic would probably have circled this one as one he really wants to get 3 points out of. You could see in the way he set up against Brisbane that it maybe was just looking for a draw or a point away from home. So, we're poised to see an interesting matchup at Campbelltown Stadium on Friday. And hopefully the Bulls bring home all 3 points. Any final thoughts?
Any predictions for you? I think I got the prediction right last week, 2-2 for the Wanderers game. So I'm just going to say 3-1. I'd like to see a clean sheet from Federici again, but I feel like with their youth and pace in the front three there, especially with Torre, we might get exposed at least once at the weekend.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it for my prediction, and because we don't necessarily create too many clear-cut goal-scoring opportunities because of our slow build-up, I mean, it really does depend how we come out and play and how we respond to Adelaide's style of play on the weekend. But I think it'll be the difference of just one goal. Maybe off a corner, someone like Sujnia pops up. Maybe Derbyshire gets on the end of something. Maybe there's a little bit of midfield brilliance and Benyat smashes it in from outside the box. But I think it'll be a close one, despite how open the game should be. 1-0 is my prediction there. All right, and that brings us to the end of another Bull Banter podcast. Make sure you follow us on all the socials. That's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and bullbanter.com as well. We've got some lovely little articles there that Daniel's been typing away just for your eyes. So thanks so much for joining us, and until next time, we'll see you later.